No. No, no.
At 6 stations now, unarmed guards at the slam gates to make sure that, people are paying.
Transit officials are testing a pilot program at random stations, placing unarmed guards at turnstiles to prevent people who don't pay from getting into the subway system.
To intercept people at the fare array and to block criminality in the system. Not every fare evader is a criminal. This is an important point, but experience has shown that virtually every criminal is a fare evader.
It's reminiscent of the broken windows theory that minor crimes contribute to an atmosphere of lawlessness that encourages more serious crimes. For example, video from October 13th shows a man ducking under the turnstile at the East 138th Street and Alexander Avenue station. Police say that man went on to punch an 18-year-old in the head. Overall, stats show that transit crime citywide is up more than 41% compared to this time last year. But riders have mixed reviews on this new pilot.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Two Transit Misfits. And as usual, Blunt was right here next to me, and he just got kicked off. He'll be back on shortly, folks. We got a couple things to talk to you about, including some personal stuff, Blunt, so make sure that you hang on, and we'll talk about that. But we're starting with, there you go. We started with MTA stations, unarmed private guards at subway entrances to stop would-be fare evaders. Blunt, come on up. Waiting for him to pop up.
Yo,
what's up, bro?
Yo, as soon as I went to join the conversation,
yeah,
I'm like, what the
yeah, no, as soon as the video ended, that we come on screen, I came up like by myself. I was like, what the fuck's going on?
The shit just cut off. It wouldn't even refresh or nothing, man. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? We were just talking.
It's a signal. It's a
shit.
signal. What's going on, Blunt? We got a lot to talk about, especially about you. I know we've been out like 3 weeks. We've been out now.
Almost a month.
Almost a month that we couldn't do the show. We will, or you will explain. We will both explain what's going on. But we're back today because of that, since we missed almost a month of shows. And next Thursday is Thanksgiving.
And
you know,
so we won't be on then.
We're not gonna be on then. I'll be a dead man walking if I go on live during Thanksgiving, definitely in the evening. So I don't know. Maybe we could do something during the day. I don't know. Everybody's gonna be busy and cooking and driving to supermarkets, last minute shopping, So we'll talk about that later on. But we figured let's try this Sunday. We had this Sunday down to do right now. Figure we come at 1 o'clock. I thought there was gonna be like some football game going on. I know there was some big soccer.
There's usually college football on now, and then maybe some major ones coming on later. Yeah,
guys, if there's a football going on, just between commercials, come back here, have us on your phone, check us out. Give us a follow, give us a like, help us out. So yeah, I think there's some games going on, and I was like, damn, if there's a football going on, but no, this is soccer. There's Qatar versus Ecuador. So another half of the family is from Ecuador, so they're downstairs watching that game. Last thing I heard was 2-0 or 4-0 Ecuador. So
you're gonna have to keep score.
Huh?
You're gonna have to keep score.
Yeah, we'll see what happened today. I think it was like the first game that they started. So yeah, man. So back to our little video from the beginning. This started like a couple of weeks ago. So the MTA is hiring private security, and I just don't know how to feel about that. I don't think that that's really going to help.
Private security for what?
To a fare invasion of the trains. You missed the video? Did you cut out while the video was playing?
The video froze on me.
So yeah, so it's basically they're they hired private security. So these are unarmed guards that they hired to stop would-be fare evaders.
It's a waste of money.
I think it is, because I mean, being unarmed, unless they got some brolic ass people, that will be very intimidating if you're seen by one of them and you're trying to jump that turnstile, they look that intimidating. But knowing MTA, I don't know. I just don't see someone's gonna jump the turnstile and there's gonna be the security guy going, no, don't do that.
No, it's a waste of money.
Yeah, how are they gonna stop them? They're gonna grab them? Are they gonna? They're not. So it's like, what? Just to have eyes to count how many people.
What they're doing is just as a deterrent.
Yeah, the regular people.
Some people.
The regular people that don't do this all the time. That they're like, oh shit, I forgot my car, but I got to get to the train, and they see nobody around, they'll do it that once in a blue moon kind of thing. But these guys and women that are used to it, they're not gonna give two F's on who's standing there. I just, like you said, it is a freaking waste of money. And I haven't heard anything. This has been like a few weeks now since supposedly they started this. I have not heard anything about anyone being stopped. I just don't understand, like, what security company did they hire? What kind of people these are security? I think they could be the same one that be just like they see someone, they just look away. Like it ain't happening. So I don't know, folks. If you're those of you watching,
is this going to be a position in transit now, or it's just a separate thing?
I don't know, but right now it's a pilot. It's a pilot program that they're testing out. Because what they say is that not everybody that evades the fare is a criminal. So they're saying, that just because of that you're not a criminal, but they want to deter those that basically don't do it all the time to just stop. But like we said, anyone who's always been doing it, they're still gonna do it. They're gonna be like, what you gonna do? And is the security gonna get into a fight with them? I really doubt it. They don't want us talking back to the customers. They don't want us tell the customers what they can or cannot do. Could you imagine what security's gonna tell them what they're gonna do? Get back behind and pay your fare. Don't come in.
Right. I mean, what they're gonna put hands on them? They're gonna drag them back out. They're gonna throw them in the street, or what are they gonna do? They're gonna call the cops?
Yeah, I doubt any of that is gonna happen. I'm thinking it's probably going the same way as, remember when the buses were being taken, where we had this few kids, I think it was in Queens.
They were stealing the buses.
They were stealing the buses. And then suddenly we have these keys. They give us keys because they're going to make them start up with keys. Don't know what happened with that. When COVID hit, we were told we were getting those samples. What do you call it? For the saliva.
Swabs.
The swabs. We were supposed to be getting those kits so that if we get spat on, we could take that, I guess, wipe ourselves wherever we got spat on, and the DNA kit would be tested to see if they could match anyone that's done it before.
I thought that was a good idea, because
it was.
I feel like you could bring the people on charges.
Yeah.
So I feel like at that point, if the union don't pursue it, go on Amazon, get your own DNA kit and carry it with you. So that way, if it happens and you swab it, you say, I want to press charges. And you be an example. Like, I'm not waiting on the union to always do everything for me. You know, that's a good idea. Just take a couple of bucks and get your own DNA kit and just keep it in your bag.
And do it. But I'm guessing you're talking about to go further with this on your own then. Because
Yeah,
transit is not
take
gonna
it
be
take
like,
it to
oh,
the
you got
furthest
the kit
extreme.
here. We're gonna do it. They're not gonna do it for us.
No, take it to the furthest extent on your own. Press charges on you by yourself. And I guarantee you, I can guarantee you this. So say you driving and somebody spit on you, you call the police, you pull out your DNA kit real quick, you swab it off, you put it in the bag, and you tell the police you want to press charges. You press charges, and the guy gets convicted. I don't know what they're gonna charge you with. Probably some minor conviction, but I can guarantee you that if
I got a
the
feeling you're about to
press
get
gets
kicked
hold
off
of that,
again.
yeah, I see it glitching. If
Yeah.
the press gets hold of that the union's going to be right there trying to take pictures with you.
So hey, that might be a good idea. I haven't thought about that, to get our own DNA test.
I'm caught in the matrix, y'all, so please forgive me. I'm glitching like crazy over
Yeah,
here.
you're giving me vibes of that guy from back in the 80s. What was it?
Yeah. I don't
What was
remember
it?
his name, but I remember you talking about.
Max Headroom. You're
Oh
giving me
yeah.
Max Headroom vibes. But that's all right. The folks that know, you're in a spot where the signal is a little shoddy, but we're doing the best we
Yeah.
can. So, and we have our own signals, so it's not like we could share, like, we're side to side in the studio. So it is what it is. We'll get there. Yeah. So anyway, folks, comment. Let us know what you feel about this MTA hiring private security. And maybe on another show, we see your comments. We'll talk about that. But right now, I wanted to bring something up before we continue. Where is it? Well, nothing. Yeah, Blunt. Like we were talking about like 3 weeks ago, we haven't done the show in like almost a month. So I know, but not everybody knows that. But a matter of fact, a couple of people, some people at the depot have been asking about you. Couldn't give information. I'm like, I just said he's not in a good place right now. Got some issues, but as soon as he's able to come back on, you watch, you'll be able to know. I said you could reach out to him, and he'll let you know what the issue is. But this is something that it is serious. It's worth talking about it. It's worth bringing awareness to, and that's why you wanted to talk about it yourself. So bring us up to what do you call it? Up to speed of what happened. What happened that you were not able to make it to our show.
So us men, we have this stigma about checking up on ourselves, right? And I'm no exception to the rule. But I thought with a lot of stuff, that going on, I was doing a fairly good job, but I was sadly mistaken in that case. So, ever since my accident, well, pre-accident, let's say pre-accident, so this is 2014. Pre-accident, I was always borderline diabetic, borderline hypertension. So I wasn't quite there yet, but I was showing tendencies of getting there, and that was basically my eating habits for putting me in that position. But the thing was, I was always moving around, and I was always in the gym, so I would counteract what I was eating and just keep me borderline. And so comes the accident, I can no longer move around like I used to. I can't do the gym, so I'm pretty much sedentary. Sedentary. Wow, I'm pretty much not non-mobile,
Mm.
and that pushed me over the threshold. So all of a sudden, I became diabetic, full blown diabetic, and full blown hypertension, which is a two piece to your body, to your system. If you're borderline diabetic, if you're full blown diabetic, you have to um you have to take that seriously. It's a matter of life and death, basically. And so I'm going to these doctors. I had multiple surgeries, and I'm seeing a plethora of doctors, and I can't even keep them straight. I have so many doctors. I have so many pills and stuff that I take. Um, and when they give you all those pills for all the symptoms that you have, um, of course, this stuff that they give you, they only treat the symptoms. They don't really treat the actual uh, disease or whatever it is that you're fighting. They just treat the symptoms, and so you may look like um, you have your diabetes under control, you have your hypertension under control, but your body's still not right. You have to eat right. You have to eat right. And so what happened with me was a couple of weeks ago. I had got this at my house. Water pump down in the basement had blown, and it was flooding the basement. So I went down there without my slippers on, which is a no-no when you're diabetic. You don't do that when you're
What's the reason
diabetic.
for that?
But me, I'm not,
You let me know what's the
because you
reason
don't
for
want to
that.
get any cuts. You don't want to
Okay.
get cuts when you're diabetic because they don't
They don't
heal.
heal.
You can
Okay.
it could turn to something really disastrous. And so, point taken, I stepped on a little pebble or something on a rock, and I couldn't really tell because most people know that I don't feel my feet ever since the accident. I don't have feeling my lower extremity for my ankles down. I don't really feel it. It's just I have a bunch of nerve pain, which it feels like your feet's asleep. Basically, that's what my feet feel like all the time. It feels like it's asleep. You get the pins and needles,
So
that
like
kind
a
of
numbing
pain.
feeling.
It's a numb feeling. You get the pins and needles, but it's also like a bunch of knives, mini knives stabbing you. So that's neuropathy. So I got neuropathy from the accident, but I can't really feel the bottom of my feet. So I didn't really know I stepped on anything until I got upstairs and I see that fucking blood trail behind me. So I noticed there's a blood trail. So I take care, I get it cut clean, whatever. A year later, the cut still didn't heal. So I'm like, what's going on with this cut? And it's because of diabetes. The cut's not going to heal right. That's why you try not to get cuts when you get diabetic. When you're diabetic, so I go to the podiatrist. I go to one where close to where I live at in Brooklyn when I was in Brooklyn, and she cleaned it up, whatever. She says pretty, it's a little deep, but she's taking care. It's not that bad, but she wants to make sure that it doesn't hit the bone or whatever. So all right, no infections or whatever. Everything's good. Go back here. I'm in Queens now somewhere, and the cut's still here. So I said, you know what? Let me go to the doctor. And this is the point I want to make with a lot of us men. I said, let me go to the doctor and get a second opinion on this because this is not closing up like it's supposed. This thing should be long gone by now. So I'll go to the podiatrist over here in Queens, a different one. I said, Doc, got this cut in my foot. I had another podiatrist see. I just want to get your opinion on it and see if make sure that everything's going the way it's supposed to be going because it's still not closed yet. I don't understand why it's not closed yet. It's not giving me any pain because it's on the bottom of my feet. So if it was painful, I wouldn't know it. Doc cleans it out. She's all right. She's like, it's fine. She's a little worried about infection. So she had me take an X-ray, and she's like, she just wants me to take an MRI to make sure that it hasn't gone to the bone.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, cool. She said, well, while you're here, I'm gonna take a blood test, make sure the blood work is good. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. I'm not thinking about that. I get home, and the next day the doctor calls me, and she's like, Mr. Garcia, how you feeling right now? I'm like, I feel good. I feel okay. She said, you're not tired, you're not sleepy, you don't feel faint or anything, vomiting.
Thanks.
I'm like, no. I'm a little worried now that you called me. What's going on? She's like, your hemoglobin is dangerously low.
Dangerously.
I don't know. Yeah, dangerously low. That's her words. I don't know what that means. All I heard was dangerously. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, what are you saying? She's like, you should stop what you're doing and go to the ER right now. I'm like, but I feel fine. She's like, listen, Mr. Garcia, it's at the level that you can pass out at any time and not wake up. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, is it really
Doctor
that
was
bad?
blunt,
I'm like,
was blunt with you just like that, no pun intended.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. But I'm like, and at the same time, I'm still in denial because I feel fine. I'm laying in my bed. I'm like, I'm doing some stuff on the computer. I'm like, Doc, you know what? Do I have to go right now? She said, I highly recommend you go right now. You stop what you're doing, go right now. Go to ER. They'll know what to do. She said, take the paperwork with you. She said, you got access to your chart, and I got access. I can pull everything up. She said, take the hemoglobin and show them. They'll know exactly what to do. They're probably going to give you a transfusion right away. I'm like, a transfusion? Oh. I'm like, is that serious, Doc? She said, it's that serious. This is life and death. She said, so I'm like, I said, I'll go tomorrow, whatever. All right. Next day come, I'm laying in the bed. My homeboy calls me.
So hold up, you waited till the next day, bro?
Yeah, because I felt, again, I didn't feel anything. I felt fine. So next day I'm laying in the bed. It's stupid is what it is. I should have did what she said. I just stopped what I was doing and went right away. I could have passed away overnight and not known it. Because in hindsight, I was feeling a little tired. But I couldn't.
You thought it was just sleeping or something?
Yeah, I thought it was just, the fact that I don't really move around as much as whatever else. I didn't think of nothing of it, but I was a little tired. And so my homeboy calls me. He's like, yo, what you doing? I'm like, procrastinating over here. I was supposed to go to the doctor, to the ER. My doctor called me. And he's like getting on my case. Yo, what the F you doing? Yo, take your butt over there, man. Don't play no games, man. Blah, 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 blah. And he's getting into me, which is a good friend should do. If I'm telling you the same thing that the doctor's telling me, and you're supposed to be my friend, then you get on my case. Like, go have that checked out. Whatever. Stop playing. So I got up and I went, and that was the end of it. When I got to the hospital, it was like reality hit. When I got there, walked in. I'm like, yo, my doctor called me. She told me he would go. And I'm not treating it as serious as it's supposed to be. She told me my hemoglobin, here's the paperwork, blah, 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 whatever. They got people rushing in, put me on a stretcher, put me right back in the ER, blah, blah, blah. About 5 different doctors came. You don't feel tired? You don't feel like vomiting? I'm like, nah.
You threw up at that time right there?
They got me. I feel like now, but they got me a bucket and stuff, and I threw up right there. I'm like, I'll just start throwing up. And I couldn't stop throwing up. I just couldn't stop throwing up. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, blah, 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 blah. The whole team got together. They gave me a transfusion within an hour. They
Man.
got found the IV, gave me some blood, blah blah blah. They said, "Yo, we gonna have to put you on dialysis. Your blood work is bad, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "What the fuck?" And that first night or two, just throwing up, passing out, throwing up and passing out. And it was terrible, man. It was terrible. Then they had me, they give you this, I kind of feel angry because they said they put this procedure where they go through your neck here to put a line in so they could do dialysis, right? And
To your neck?
they give you your neck. There's a thing here in your neck they go through, and they're supposed to give you like this something to calm you down. They don't put you under. They need you up. They need you up to do the procedure so you could tell them you have to breathe certain times and certain things that they have. You have to follow certain instructions while they're doing it. So they can't put you completely under. So you feel all that. They numb the area, but you feel everything else that they can't numb. So you're up and then you're under this plastic thing over your face, and if you're claustrophobic, you're not gonna like it. I had to cut the hole out because last year I just became claustrophobic for being in them MRIs too much.
Real word.
And yeah, so I'm up. They put that stuff in there with your neck, and then you get issued your lifelong sentence of dialysis. And that's because I wasn't paying attention to the signs. I'm taking all these freaking meds and
So wait,
not
I'm sorry.
eating.
I remember when I worked for Accessorite, I was taking people to dialysis like all the time, and I saw when they used to. Some had that big bulge under the skin where they would connect it, but there, I don't remember. So remind me. You're saying for life, there is no way you could get
Well,
off
this
dialysis.
can be this. No, it's not really for life, but you can get off dialysis.
Mhm.
There's a couple of things that need to happen. Either your kidneys need to start functioning better because both my kidneys are failing because my creatinine levels are too high.
Mhm.
So that's one thing you guys have to make sure you keep track of is your creatinine levels. So when you get your blood work, ask your doctor how is your creatinine levels compared to regular. If they don't say regular, start taking care of your kidneys. Start taking care of your kidneys. Start eating properly and stuff like that. But once it start rising up, that means one of them is starting to fail or both of them. So if one of them fails, you can survive off of one kidney.
Is that like
So can
drink?
your
So you have to
creatinine,
drink, right? You have to drink a lot of water. Would that be?
water, get away from sugar and stuff and stuff. You have to eat proper. You have to eat proper.
Mhm.
There's certain, I don't know, I can't really give, this is no advice out there, but there's supposed to be some kind of Chinese um bush remedies that they have that's supposed to help your kidneys and stuff. But just be conscious of it. You know what I mean? Follow get a dietitian and talk about it. Tell them that you're worried about it and you want to get ahead of the game. That's the best way to beat it. So you can your kidneys can start um working properly. You could get a transplant. If you get on the list, it could take up to 5 years to get a transplant, unless you have maybe a relative might step up
Mhm.
and give you a kidney. I don't know how the hell you ask a relative for something like that, but
Well, you could start by just
you
talking
know,
to the family and just let them know what's going on, and then maybe at that point they'll, the right.
yeah, that's. I mean, that's all I did. I let my brother know, my sister know. They know what's going on, but I'm not gonna ask them to do something like that.
Mhm.
But I gotta get a list or whatever. But I'm looking into some natural remedies that could possibly help my kidneys uh go back to normal. Because at one point, so this is the thing. Like I knew about my creatinine levels. I just didn't know really what that means. What is creatinine level? Yeah, your creatinine levels are going up. What
You
the
mean, are
you know
you
what
talking
does
about
that mean though?
creatine?
No, it's creatine. It's not creatine. It's different. Creatine
Okay.
levels.
Okay.
So yeah. So when you go to your doctor and you get blood work, inquire about your creatine levels, just to make sure that the levels are okay. If they start to go up, I think the proper. I'm not. Don't quote me on this. This is not. This is probably not the right information. But I think proper creatine levels is around 1, like the number 1.
Hmm.
Mine's were at one point. Let me see if I can pull it up. Proper creatine. At one point, my creatinine levels, it was at a 3, right? And I was going for my final surgery, so I had them tested again, and it went down to 2, which is a good sign that my kidneys were starting to work back regularly.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, cool. My kidneys are going back to work. I just got to keep doing what I'm doing. Blah, 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 blah. No, so that wasn't it. I should have. Okay, so here, the typical range for serum creatinine for an adult male is 0.74 to 1.3, 1.35.
Okay.
So that's the regular baseline for healthy creatinine levels in a male. For an adult male, I don't know about women. It might be a little bit different, but I'll just pull that up on Google quick. So it went from a 3 to a 2, which means it went in the right direction. It went down, which means it's going back to normal, whatever. So I had that stuck in my brain instead of saying, let me push the issue. Let me go ahead and uh see if I can do more to get it down to normal levels. And no, and then I got a lot of stuff going on in my personal life that um you know um causes a lot of stress and anxiety, and that's not good for kidneys neither, because your kidneys start to produce certain hormones that are bad for you. And
So what are you
when you
doing in order to bring those stress levels down? Have you spoken to someone that there's something that you could try to do? And I know it's harder, easier said than done, but there's got to be something that you can try doing. Maybe something that you listen to. I don't know, to try to bring down your level of anxiety and to help you focus on the important thing right now, which is this issue. Is there
yeah, well, the only thing I can do at this particular moment, because of
medication?
where I am, no, I don't want to take
I know you don't want to take it. I
more.
mean, I know you've said in the past you're like hardhead when it comes to that. Like you don't like taking medication, but with something
Yeah,
like this,
I'm on about 10 different medications right now.
okay.
I don't want to add to that. You know what I mean? I'm taking a pharmacy as it is. So
Uh-huh.
I, if I can avoid taking medication, I will.
Hmm.
There's a lot of times where I just lay up in pain because I don't want to take Tylenol. I mean, it's 2 reasons why I don't want to take Tylenol. A lot of people don't know what happened. But when I was in the hospital after my accident, the um the level of pain that I was in, morphine had no effect on me. Absolutely none. So they had to give me what's called Dilaudid. And Dilaudid was like the only thing that helped. And the bad thing about Dilaudid is very addictive. And I wasn't immune to that. And so it became a case where if you wanted me to do physical therapy, if you wanted me to do anything, you had to give me a dose of Dilaudid or I wasn't doing it. And I didn't
Blood.
even
So real quick,
realize
I
that
just want you to check out the comments. I don't know who that is, but he left the comment. I posted up, and I don't know if you've heard about that.
Dr. Atkins revolution. Dr. Atkins. The problem with Dr. Atkins, brain is a lot of meat in his diets, and I appreciate the comment, and thank you. Yeah, Dr. Atkins is
just call him Bree, because
yeah, Dr. Atkins has some issues. There are a couple of books that I'm looking into right now. There's one I just found the other day with this doctor who practices Eastern. Where we at?
We're in the East, so it will be Western.
Yeah, so Western medicine. He practices Western medicine, and he's well renowned for kidney healing. And he has a book out. I'm looking into the doctor himself before I actually purchased his book, because there's a lot of quack jobs out there. And he has a book that's supposed to do some kind of Chinese medicine. They're all herbs. They're not.
What about the doctors we've had on the show? Maybe you could hit them up. Maybe they could give you some kind of info.
Well, those two doctors, one is an ER surgeon, and the other is, I think, maybe a general or a plastic surgeon. They don't have the specialty. I'm gonna actually call them, because they might know somebody.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
That can help. But their particular expertise are not.
Or Dr. Siab.
So
maybe he might know someone too. He was not too long ago. He was out here in New York.
Yeah, on some kind of convention.
Yeah, he was out here. So maybe he's friends with the show. Maybe you could reach out to him too. Maybe he could point you the right direction.
You know, the sad part is I've read so many health books on how to stay healthy. I really know how to do it, and it's just a matter of putting
I don't know if you do, bro, because look what you're at, man. I mean, not trying to sound
that's the point.
You know,
knowing how to do it and doing it is two different things. You know what I mean? I've read so many books. I read so many books. You know what? One book really had me on track, and I got complacent with what I was at, and I just stopped doing it. And that was so I can think of the name of the book. I can't think of the name of the book, but it was really, really, really helpful. It was a point when I was a manager at the movie theater, and I was gaining too much weight, and so I got this book from a doctor that wrote. And the beginning of the book, it started where everybody was giving their excuses, which was I thought was really thoughtful, because you read through all the excuses that everybody has for not eating properly, for not exercising properly, and everybody has their own excuses, but you can relate to.
I can relate. Saying. I mean, I have asthma, but for years, and even friends of mine who have asthma, it's like a thing with being hard-headed. Like, and when I go to the doctor, and the doctor's, you're supposed to do this, and I'm like, I know, and I start getting that asthma, and I'm like, rather than go to the hospital, I'm over here trying to treat myself. I know what I got to do as an asthmatic. I know what I should and not eat, but yet, because I start feeling good, I kind of put that away. Like, I'm feeling good, and
put it away. Once you start feeling good, like, whatever, I'm good.
So it took. I'm going to be 57. It took years before I started thinking, like, now, as soon as I feel a little asthma thing, I'm going to be heading to the doctor. I'm going to be making an appointment. My wife right now, you got to go to the doctor, make an appointment, go to urgent care. So back then, I would be to the point that ambulances had to come and take me to the hospital, to the point that I couldn't walk with my asthma. As hard-headed, knowing that I've been asthmatic since I was like 3 years old, possibly even born with it, knowing what happens before I get really bad, and you're like, we're hard-headed. So I can understand how you're feeling. Like, you feel like you got it on check, and then something, an emergency happens, and that brings you out. But what happens once you start feeling well again? You're like 10-2. Oh, I'm good. But that's the problem with us, and
Mhm.
we have to, especially men. We're like, we're like brought up a certain way, like, we take care of ourselves and we're good and everything is how you feel. I'm good. So this is
So,
this is
so
this is a warn, a kind of a, I won't say warning, but something that you really have to start taking serious. It's been years. You probably have been issues. I think it's time that you
right.
can't put this in the back burner no more, bro. We're getting older.
So here's the thing. Like now that you have, once you get your asthma under control, we have to start taking the extra steps. Like how can we prevent it? What's triggering our asthma, and how can we prevent it? Or what triggered this
Kidney issue.
deterioration for my kidneys? Right?
Hmm.
Was I doing that? Excuse me. Started this, and I could track mine back to my accident, because ever since I had no kidney problems. I had no kidney issues whatsoever before my accident. Well, once I was in there, mind you, I was in the hospital for a year and a half.
So it was a bad accident. So yeah.
It was a terrible accident.
Hmm.
People don't even understand. I passed away twice, two different occasions, and so I shouldn't really be here. And laying up in there, I had poles. You had the IV pole. You had one IV pole.
Yeah.
I had maybe about 3 IV poles. Well, if you have one IV pole, you have one pump, right? I had like 3 IV poles next to my bed with several pumps. All that, all that fluid and stuff going in to my body, connected to my body. I had 4 different
Scary.
poles coming out of me. So, I had so much drugs being pumped into me just to keep me alive that my kidneys were starting to fail. And so, fortunately, I'm here. I'm good. I'm not 100%, but I'm back out the hospital. Spent a couple of weeks in there. I have to do dialysis now, which is 3 days a week. But here's some of the signs that I could give you guys, just in case you might have the symptoms and not know it. So just to keep you aware of what's happening. The first sign that you want to get that your kidneys are starting to malfunction is frothy urine.
The what?
See,
Frothy?
froth, frothy urine. You take a piss in the toilet, look at it. If there's bubbles, a lot of bubbles, you're starting to have issues with your kidneys. Go to the doctor. It may not be anything serious, but it may be the start of something. That's like the beginning signs that you might want to keep an eye out for. Frothy urine. You can simply, us bus operators, I don't know who may do it, but sometimes you might, on a layover, use a cup. Look at it. Don't be afraid to look at your own
If it's
urine.
too dark,
You know what I
probably.
mean?
The darker, the worse, I'm guessing.
No, that just could be your
Your liquid
not taking
intake. You
enough
drink too much soda
water.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You're dehydrated. But that's, you want to keep your kidneys hydrated, definitely. But if you use a cup or bottle, and when you close it up, you see a lot of bubbles, that could be a sign that your kidneys are starting to malfunction. Now, again, it may not be serious or anything, or it could be you just have a strong pressure, but whatever. The second sign is if there may be some kind of odor to it, strange odor. Urine has its own smell. If you smell anything different, go to the doctor. Tell them, listen, doc, for whatever reason, I smelt my urine and it didn't smell right. They'll know to check your kidneys and check you out and make sure everything's properly. So those are 2 things real quick. And then the third one, if it starts to get cloudy. If your urine is cloudy, there's something wrong. Should not be cloudy, it should be clear. Yellow, whatever, yellow or clear white, but
Okay.
not cloudy yellow.
Well, thanks for that, because I didn't know that. It's things like if they're not affecting you, you don't think about it.
Yeah,
Even though
you don't think about it.
they probably talked about media all the time, but if it's not something that affects us personally, we just swipe and keep it moving. So that's something good to know what you just brought up. So, I mean, I have not looked at anything like that. I mean, I look at even when number two, you got to always look, because there could be certain things that are different that shouldn't be there. So I'm always looking at that kind of stuff. But as far as frothy, at least I know that if, God forbid, but if you see something like that.
And it's not really easy to find, because a lot of times we're just going to a urinal and it's going straight down, so you don't really see it. Or go to the toilet, we're not even thinking about it, we just flush it.
Yeah.
So, but like if you have to, a good case, especially for us operators, is we can monitor it, because sometimes during our swing we use. So it's good to know to check out for that stuff.
And this show that we're doing right now, just real quick, that Blunt is talking about, folks, we do have a lot of operators. I mean, that's our job. So this should be awareness to our coworkers watching, because a lot of them get put taken off from driving a bus because of issues like this.
Yeah.
So this is something
that's why
we definitely got to look out for. If we don't have it now, it doesn't mean we shouldn't think about it or talk about it.
Right. And that's why the gym is so important at the depot. Even if you don't go, contribute to helping keep and maintain it, because that gym saves a lot of people's lives without people knowing. There's people who should be going to the gym and don't go. When I was an operator, I scheduled my day. When I made the picks, if I had a 3-hour pick, a 3-hour swing in my pick, I tried to pick something like that so that I could schedule gym time in there. But if that didn't work, then I would schedule my gym time either mostly after. Before it was never going to happen, but mostly after work. I would put about 2 hours into the gym. And I just made it part of my
You did it after work?
routine for work. Yeah, sometimes I would do it after work. I would clear around 1 p.m. And I just go to the gym till about 3. Then I go home, and I just made that part of my job. Like that's my job schedule.
You make me feel like crap right now, because I am one. I've actually paid to use the gym at the depot, and I think I went 2 weeks. And I look at my schedule, and I'm like, yeah, I could go in, because I get in early enough. From the time I go in, I have an hour. I have an hour that I could actually go and do maybe half hour, and then if I want to take a quick shower,
just get on the treadmill. Get on the treadmill and walk for half an hour.
Man,
get you some 99-cent flip flops for the shower.
I have them. I actually have the flip flops. I got shampoo, soap. I got everything in my locker. There's really nothing stopping me but myself. And I get to work early enough. I'll sit in the car on my YouTube, on the phone, watching YouTube until I got 10 minutes. Let me go inside. And it's just I've gone damn lazy, man. I think also because I put on a lot of weight myself. That and I know it might not be an excuse, but it's like I got so lazy that I don't even want to freaking walk those 100 feet to the freaking gym.
Well, that's why Pete, it's a mental thing. I put it as part of my job. I have to go to work I have to pay these bills. So while I'm doing that, the end of my day, nope, I didn't finish. I still got to do the gym. I got to go to the gym.
You were still doing the gym at your house, though. You had your friend going in.
That was just extra. That was extra. That was, and mind you, in my house, I go hard. I used to go hard. I put together a P90X, and I introduced the workout Insanity to the depot. I brought that workout to the depot, and then Hodges and I think somebody else started holding Insanity classes.
I remember that.
I don't want to introduce them to that. So
I went and bought the tape from them.
Yeah,
I bought the tape from them. We tried it. It was like, nah, man.
That sucker's no joke.
That's not for beginners, man. It was too rough. It was too rough.
The test to have you floored.
Yeah. The warm up.
You have to get through the test first. Yeah, you have to get through the test first. And now, mind you, the first month is the easy part. Then you get to the second month, which is the real insanity part. And I'm telling you, boy, I used to do it with them, and I used to watch even the guys on the tape who are professionals. By the time they got to the end of the workout, they all laid out on the floor.
You know,
They
there
couldn't
was
even
the
hide it.
guy that was in front with the girl, like the Asian looking girl. I used to be hating on her, man, because she's like, "Where the fuck you showing up so much?" The other guy suddenly, the next tape, he's in the back and she's on the front. I was like, "Yeah, that was just too difficult
Yeah.
for me."
So at home, I used to do that. I used to do the P90 and the insanity. The people that don't understand what is insanity, you can look it up. Insanity is mostly like cardio. It's mostly your body, and it's really extreme, but it's really good for you. And P90X is a little more of weights. There's a certain way you're supposed to lift weights to build certain parts of your body, and he puts together a plan that you're so into what he's doing, you just get into what you're doing. You don't worry about what you're lifting and stuff like that. So I was like, since I do them both, I want to make my own kind of program. So I put them both together, which is crazy. It's a ridiculous schedule.
Mm.
And I used to have my homeboy come to my basement, and we had the treadmill, we had all the weights and stuff, and we do it. And all I would do it with my ex, we would do insanity together, and it was great. It was great. And then so I can't do none of that stuff no more. And the mind is willing, but the body's like, nah,
Yeah.
bro, you can't do it. You can't do it. So it's frustrating for me. So so Bree, I appreciate. I'm gonna still look into Dr. Atkins again to see if any kind of information he has can help me. I'm not gonna just turn him flat down. I'm gonna look into Dr. Atkins and see what he says about diabetics, and if I like what he's saying, I would take bits and pieces of what he's talking about and implement it. But I looked into Dr. Atkins a long time ago, and even my own doctor was like, don't follow that. My own doctor was like, don't follow that. It's not.
I mean, there could be some truth in there.
Yeah, there's always some
truth. A lot of
to it.
times they extend it, they expand, they exaggerate some things, and that's what people
That's
fall.
the key word. They exaggerate. That's the key word. They exaggerate, and people who just don't feel like doing research, just listen to it and follow right along blindly, not knowing that they're actually killing themselves, So yeah, definitely, that's what that is, man. Yeah. So that right. So that's what the case is right now. I'm feeling a lot better. I'm not 100%, but then how can I be? Because they keep playing with my blood and stuff like that. But if there's a way to reverse this, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it. If it takes
make
me
that your goal.
Transplant, yeah. I mean, if it takes me a transplant, then that's what it's gonna be. But if there's a way that I can reverse this on my own, and
I mean, did they tell you that it's I mean, it also depends on what the doctor tells you. If it's to the point that it cannot be reversed, I'm sure the doctor would have told you.
No, this is the thing, Pete. You ask the doctors, is this a lifetime sentence? They don't say yes. They say, you start to get the vague from them. So then I asked them, well, is there a way that I can reverse this? Have my kidneys start functioning again? They said, well, it's not impossible. It's very rare, but it's not, which I feel like Jim Carrey in what's it, Dumb and Dumber? So you say I have a chance. You know what I mean? Like, so there's a door open, And then the only problem that I don't like now is that social media.
They can't professionally tell you that it could be done, but they're also letting you know that because it has happened.
It has happened. It might be very rare, and they don't want you to get your hopes up. Neither. They don't want to say and then you like, and then all of a sudden it never happens to you. And now you want to sue and all that stuff.
Okay, but you yourself got to get your hopes up and look into all this thing and try everything you can to reverse it.
Yeah.
I mean, you could also talk to people when you go to dialysis. You know.
Well, I can't. That's another thing. I can't even talk to nobody right now because when I go to dialysis, I'm separated from everybody.
Oh,
Yeah,
why? I mean, I remember,
because
like I
my
said, when I worked for Accessor, I would take people there, and I would walk into the room when it was my turn to pick someone up, and you could see they're all wear like I call them the lazy chairs. They're all like lazy chairs, chilling with their drink, a little TV screen, their own TV screen, headphones, and they were all like a huge open room. So what do you mean that they separate you?
well,
You talk too much?
I'm isolated. I'm isolated because I end up catching COVID in the hospital. So now when I go to outpatient dialysis, they have me in my own room. I think I think Friday was my last day, and then tomorrow I should be able to join regular
Okay.
population.
Okay.
But yeah. So let me tell you something, guys. Those of you who still anti-vaccine out there, I went to the hospital for one thing, and I caught COVID in the hospital because the dude diagonally from me was coughing up a lung for all day and night, and he had COVID. So he gave all of us in the room COVID. Now, for you anti-vaxxers, that could have been something really bad. But for me, who was vaccinated, right, it was just a matter of some chills and a temperature.
And
for about a
boosted,
day or
right? You
two.
got also boosted.
No, I didn't even get boosted yet.
Oh, you didn't get boosted.
But I got the regular vaccine. So
Okay.
it was still just chills and a temperature for 2 days, and then it went away.
So there'll still be anti-vaxxers, there'll
So
still be anti-vaxxers. They'll still say like you didn't have COVID, you had the flu, you had a cold.
I
That's
had
how they are.
COVID because
So
they told me,
we
and
can't.
they told me when I was in dialysis. They was like, you got to keep them separated. I'm hearing the doctor tell the other doctor, you got to keep them separated. I'm like, what do you mean? So yeah, you tested positive. I said, what do you mean I tested positive? So you tested positive yesterday because they were testing her ever since that guy had COVID. They was testing us every day, and so for my first one or two came back negative, and then the third one came back positive. So I'm like,
Jesus.
I'm like, how the f you go to the hospital to catch COVID?
Well, you don't go to the hospital to catch COVID. But how the hell did that patient didn't mention it if he knew he or she had it?
Because
was it he? Was
those
it she?
people
He
don't believe it was a guy. It was a guy.
Yeah.
Those people don't believe in it. They still
But don't they have to
believe in
test
COVID.
you, or you could say no? Like when you go to the hospital, aren't they supposed to test you?
No, they test you. Once you go in there, they pull out.
They have to test you. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Unreal, man.
Yeah, man. Unreal. So and then you got a lot of people who deny COVID is real, will give you COVID. So if you can get vaccinated, please get vaccinated and get the booster shot. As soon as I'm eligible to get the booster, I'm going to get it boosted because they've been giving me. They gave me hepatitis vaccine. They gave me the hepatitis vaccine at dialysis, and they gave me the flu shot. I'm like, I don't want to get sick again.
Oh yeah, the hepatitis vaccine because you're getting transfusions.
Yeah,
and you could easily catch it. I know that for a fact. You could catch hepatitis from transfusion. So yeah, they're taking all the care to make sure that you don't get any worse.
Yeah, they put that thing, that the one they put in your skin.
Under the skin.
They gave me that one. Yeah, they put that under the skin. I'm like, I think I got one more vaccination to get. I'm like vaccine again. I'm like, geez, I feel like I'm in the army.
Jeez, man. You got to do it, man. You got to do it. You got to stay here, man. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. I mean,
stay alive.
Just put it on top of the next pile.
So, Blunt, we're gonna go. Unless you got something else to add, coming to the end of our show. This is interesting talk for sure.
Yeah. I mean, there is a new trend. There is a new trend out. I don't know. You don't believe this, right, Pete?
Let's see. What's that new trend, Blunt?
There's a new trend out, guys. I don't know if you heard about it. It may just be in Asia, but it might be coming to
Asia.
your town near you, and that is nose hair extension.
Get the fudge out of here. Those like two hairy buttholes, bro. Nah. This can't.
Not a new beauty trend.
This ain't true. This
Yeah.
can't be true. There ain't no way this could be real, man. You guys got to look it up. We posted here. It's up to you whether you want to believe it or not. I can't believe that this would be real. That any woman would do that.
There you go, baby.
That's anti-COVID right there. You don't need to wear a mask. The hairs will capture the particles of COVID and flu so that you don't get sick.
Just make sure you change them every day.
Oh my God.
So basically, you take a pair of fake eyelashes, you join them in a circle with the sticky side out, and then you stick them in the open of your nostrils so that the hair sticks out, and it looks like that.
Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. Let me see women coming. We're over here doing our best to like trim our noses and everything. I got women gonna be nah. There's no way it can't be. And like I said, that's perfect to catch particles from COVID or whatever. Don't have those on if you have a bad cold, because
pot them up thick, ladies. Pot them up thick.
It's not a good look, as you like to say. It's not a good look.
It's not a good look. Not
unreal, bro. Let's get out of here, man.
All right, man.
Let's be out. We wish you the best, man. Me, I wish you the best. I hope that you get through this and take care of yourself, man, because you could be telling us, yeah, no, I'm doing it, and you're not. You're only lying to yourself. So this is serious, man. Take this as a big warning that came from above. You're getting another chance. I know you have other issues that you're dealing with. It's stress. I know all that. Obviously, it's very stressful. I wouldn't want to be in your position right now. And this is like an extra freaking thing on top of these issues. But I think that the number one thing you got to worry about right now is your health issue. Everything else to wait. Take care of your health issue first. Don't be like, like they say the drunk person, they go to the bar to drink to drown their sorrows, but their sorrows could swim. So, worry about your health first and don't worry about everything else later. All right. What you need to do is to do the best you can to stay alive and stay here. And with that said, I'm Brooklyn Pete.
I'm your boy Blunt.
And thank you. And that's the end of our show.
All right.
Later.
Can't take a joke.